G'day everyone, I'm Smokescreen and welcome back to another video, and here we go with some daily races from this week. We're going to be jumping into Daily Race B, but later on in this video is Daily Race C, where we see some punting, and then we also catch up to the leader, as you can see here coming out of the tunnel at Dragon Trail, on the last lap, or coming up to the last lap, so that's a very spicy ending, waiting for later. But before we get to Daily Race C, we're going to do a Daily Race B. I did one quick quali time in this McLaren 650S Group 4 car, and we're at Autodromo Lago Maggiore. We're on the East Circuit, so we actually skipped the big banky boy. We skipped the best section of the track, but anyway, we're going to jump straight into the race and have a go down into turn 1. Let's see, the Scirocco turns in very late, a couple other people quite deep up ahead, and let's see if we can get any positions here. The light blue Dell Scirocco is a little bit wide off turn 2. Let's see if we can get clean around the outside here. We should be a little bit better through this corner compared to that Scirocco, and we are able to hang it around the outside. Translates to the inside for the next turn. We've got another assault from a different car coming up behind us, but we managed to defend that. Two Sciroccos. I'm surrounded by Sciroccos. I'm the meat in a Scirocco sandwich at the moment here. Oh, someone's very wide up ahead as we head through the turn 5 complex, coming back onto the track with a penalty, and they quit. They don't want any they don't want to take any further part in this race. I don't know, is that poor sportsmanship? Who knows? But anyway, coming through this S's section now, it's a very nice flowing section in Group 4, because it's all easy flat, but you still have to sort of concentrate on getting your line right. In Group 3, it's harder to get flat out all the way down through the back straight. We're heading towards the final quarter now, so we brake halfway down this straight instead of disappearing down into the valley where the big banky boy is. But we've got through that first lap successfully, so coming down into turn 1 again. Is there going to be any more argy-bargy happening? I think there was a bit of contact between the Scirocco and the Subaru. Up ahead, more contact, side by side. Once again running into turn 3. Is the Scirocco able to hang it around the outside? It's not able to. That Subaru has better handling compared to that front-wheel drive Scirocco, as we take a very tight line through turn 4 now, heading down the hill once again towards the turn 5. They're all over the shop up ahead. They're just following each other's wheel tracks, not getting too far off each other to try and capitalise on a mistake. The Subaru sent it wide, and the Scirocco's clean up the inside on the exit. Exactly what we were talking about here. Quite a bit of lag between myself and the Subaru, although the Subaru's just dropped to a 1-bar connection, so quite difficult to kind of ascertain exactly where he is on the track there. There was a little bit of rubbing side to side as we headed through turn 6 there, but the Subaru comes out on top. So heading down this shortened back straight again, still some lag from the Subaru, so it's going to be very difficult to actually get a move done on this guy as we head into the final corner now. We just start to get on the power, and we've just run too wide on the exit, and the car just auto spins and bang into the barrier. So that's an absolute disaster. Really not a great way to start off, and I think, yeah, we get a penalty too, for good measure. So we have to serve that 1.5 seconds, so not only do we crash, we also have to serve a penalty for crashing. We get past this McGann trophy because we were in last, and then somebody disconnected, and we're up into 11th as we cross the line. So look, I'm going to say right now, unrelated, I've had enough of Daily Race B. I've just done it so much, just done that race too much. I don't really want any more to do with that, so we're going to move on to Daily Race C. Definitely nothing to do with the fact that I crashed. But yeah, Daily Race C. Anyway, Dragon Trail. We're at Dragon Trail again. And that, of course, means the chicane of death. It also means the curb of death. And we're in the Toyota Supra, of course, by far the meta car in Group 3 at present moment. So we're going to jump in this car with minimal practice. I think we did one practice race before. I actually did a practice race in the BMW M6. That didn't go too well, so jumped into the Medicar, the Toyota Supra, heading into turn 2 it is now, punting between the two Supras up ahead, and we've gained a position already. Pute just having absolutely none of that other Supra that started ahead of him. I think it was Boba Belliclen in 7th, but all good. Anyway, Daily Race C, it means strategy, or generally it means strategy. This week it means strategy. It's not one of those silly no-stop Daily Race Cs, which we sometimes see. We got the medium and the soft tyres available. Both are mandatory, which means there is at least one pit stop that needs to be done for every player to avoid that lovely gift of a 1 minute penalty at the end of your race. So we're going to have to avoid that because we're not right at the pointy end trying to drive away from everyone. I'm going to start on the medium tyres, and I sometimes find starting on the medium tyres is just a better strategy overall compared to starting on the softs. If you're starting on pole position, it's probably better off to start on the softs, but even if you're second, you can probably start on the mediums and you're within a good shout of jumping them in the pit phase. Chicane of death, we get through there cleanly now. So medium tyres, couple of reasons why I sometimes like to start on them. You can just pit earlier generally on your harder tyre because your soft tyres last a bit longer, so it gets you out of the traffic that you're within at the start of the race. It also gives you an opportunity to take advantage of the slipstream that the other cars ahead of you have behind them. While you're on that harder tyre, it can kind of sort of carry you a little bit while your tyres sort of render you a little bit off the pace. But anyway, we're on lap 4 now, so we're getting close to the pit stop. We're getting close to the in-lap on this medium tyre here, and Bob Belican from behind, I think it was the Supra that Pute punted off at turn 1, is coming back through, and because they started in third ahead of Pute, they're probably on the soft tyre, which probably explains why they were able to sort of carve their way back through the field, and they've made quick work of me. They've completely done me and just literally just driven faster. I'm going to try and hang it around the outside here. Not quite gonna happen there because I'm on worn mediums at this point. I've got fairly low level of grip in the grand scheme of this race, so Boba Belican is ahead of me now, heading through the chicane of death. It's really hard to follow someone through here because you cannot see the barriers. You also have a slight little bit of dirty air in Group 3, although it's a little bit more than slight, it's quite significant and noticeable, but so it's very hard to follow people through the chicane of death at this track, but we get through there okay that time, and you can see Boba Belican just has a grip advantage there, just gaining and stretching out that gap to about 4/10 on the exit of the final turn. We're going to have the slipstream coming towards turn 1. He's going to do his best to break that toe and just weave across the track a little bit. I don't really mind that sort of movement there. It's more if he started weaving right now, that would make me a little bit more upset. I'm just not close enough. You can see I was as late on the brakes as I possibly could dare, and I still went slightly deep, so I don't think there was any chance of me braking even later and getting the car up the inside. I don't think I literally just wasn't far enough ahead. Yellow flag is out. As we head through the chicane of death, generally that means it's been claimed. There's no one on the exit. Oh dear, yellow flag's cleared up, and there's someone with a 1.5 second penalty up ahead, just trying to block Boba Belican from going through as well. So that's GR Yuki, and hey, I think, you know, it doesn't really take Sherlock Holmes to try and work out exactly what's gone on there. I think Yuki from way up ahead has crashed at the chicane, got themselves a penalty, and has fallen back here. Have a look on the left-hand side. I'm the only one out of all of us that just pitted, apart from Yuri Pompanda, that is on the medium tyre. Yuki, Pute, and Boba Belican all on the soft. So we're going to pit in, and the roles are going to reverse. I'm going to have a grip advantage on the exit of the pit lane here as everyone comes out on their medium tyres. It's going to be cold mediums as well. People coming on the track as well on the exit of the pit lane here. There's an Nissan GTR just behind. I'm going to try and go to the inside for turn 2 and try and keep this position because my race is not with Raw Valkyrie behind me. It's with these drivers ahead of me, and I've successfully defended that position there, and I was kind of, you know, it would be a little bit questionable if I wasn't able to do that, given I'm on the brand new soft tyre, heading up into the turn 6 hairpin there. Slight tap on Marshall Welbeck, also driving the Supra here, and I just managed to get on his left hand side as Yuki serves his 1.5 second penalty, so that's them out of the picture. They're not going to be able to catch me as long as I don't lose too much time fighting these drivers, and I'm down the inside at the S's, down the inside at turn 8 on Marshall Welbeck there, and then by the exit of the S's I'm already 6/10 ahead of him. So obviously, yes, the soft tyre is proving to be very, very useful at this particular stage here, and we've got 2 drivers up ahead, Pute and Boba once again, so I wonder if Boba is going to try and get some justice for his off-track excursion on the opening of this race. But what we look for here, actually, we're just going to concentrate on the chicane of death, see if everyone gets through there cleanly. So much more grip through there, the car just leaping over the curbs like they're hardly even there, and the 2 up ahead just following each other across the track. Goat and Trigger into the pits as well. That's interesting. Goat's in on the soft and Trigger is in on the medium. Fox Kazut also in on the medium as Goat changes over to the mediums as well. And I'm pretty sure Kazut and Trigger are going to come out on the soft tyres now, which means that Goat, who's been, holding the lead quite convincingly for the first half of this race, is going to have a tough job on his hands trying to catch or trying to stay ahead of Trigger, who's just come out on the soft tyre. The two up ahead have had it coming together, and I'm sending it up the inside at turn 3. That gap just opened up, and I just pointed and squirted the car up into that gap. Absolutely beautiful. So we've got Puter now up ahead on the medium tyre. We're on the soft, straight down the inside at turn 6, not messing around. Puter doesn't defend that one, and on the exit there we've gained about half a second already just by getting a better power application down onto the ground. But what we're going to look for now is the gap between me and the leader and the gap between myself and Trigger. The difference between those two numbers is going to be the gap between Trigger and Goat. So currently 7.7 to the leader, 3.4 to Trigger. Trigger's on the one-step softer tyre, so we can expect that gap to be closing and closing. We can also expect the gap to Goat between myself as well to be closing down as well, although I don't quite think I had that sort of proper max pace I should have had at this stage. With a little bit more practice I could have got there, as I'm just getting more comfortable with the Supra, getting more comfortable with the track. The car just leaps up into the air a little bit and I graze the barrier on the exit, but with 1.3 seconds to bobber, I think we're just about able to keep that position. We skip ahead to about lap 10, turn 12 of lap 10 to be exact, and that gap between myself and the leader and the gap between myself and Trigger has closed down to almost identical, about a tenth and a half between the two numbers of a 5.8 and 5.7 there, which tells me that the two up ahead, Trigger and Goat, are going to be right on each other here, and they're going to be racing for that first position. Trigger actually just momentarily got into the lead there, perhaps trying to hang it around the outside of Goat up ahead, but this is where we cross our fingers and hope that they just battle so much that they just lose 5 seconds. It can be done. It's quite easy to do it if you're interlocked with a battle, especially with a slower driver on the slower tyre, which is Goat at this particular stage. It is easy to lose 5 seconds in 2 laps. We're just beginning lap 11 at this stage as they run side by side into the first chicane. Goat still retains the lead at this stage, and what's also interesting is that even though Trigger's on the softer tyre, he's going to have lost that really grippy edge on that tyre just now, because we've spent like 4 or 5 laps on these the second stint tyres, so that extra grip he's going to have is just dwindling at this stage, but I think inherently the same is happening to Goat. He's going to be losing that grippy edge on the medium tyres, which is still less grip than the softs, but I think, worn mediums and worn softs, the softs are still going to have more grip because they're the softer compound. As we head through the S's now, that gap to Trigger and the gap to me, the difference between the two is opened up to about 2/10, so perhaps Trigger getting caught in the dirty air as they run side by side down into turn 12. We're getting closer with every corner. Oh, yellow flags out up ahead. What's going on? Trigger's bended into the barrier and he just disappears into the abyss, into the ether. The Grim Reaper is upon us. So instead of the chicane of death up the road, he's crashed at the corner of death, or the exit of death, which is a very curved exit at turn 12. And let's see if we get through here now, because Goat is still 4 seconds ahead of us. We're going to have an absolute blistering lap here. But if we round the tunnel, Goat's made a mistake. I don't know if he smashed the barrier on the exit, made contact with something down that straight through that tunnel there, and we've got 1 lap to go, and we are 1.2 seconds behind Goat at this stage, so not quite within the slipstream. But Goat, remember, is going to have the medium tyres on. He's not going to have as much grip as me. I'm on the soft tyres, granted they are sort of 6 or 7 lap old soft tyres, but I'm still going to have a little bit of advantage here as we head down the straight. We are within the slipstream of Goat at this stage, half a second behind him now. Just got to get it stopped for turn 2 and turn 3, try and get the car out on the exit. We don't get the best of exits there. Goat definitely had the better line through the chicane that time, so that's just me being a little bit out of practice. Coming into turn 6 now, I think we're just too late on the brakes. We're not going to make the apex like Goat can. We just run a little bit around the outside, and we just fall out of the back of the slipstream range of Goat. 8 tenths now. It's got to be a tall order. We needed to get a really good turn 8 to try and be right on his tail and go for a dive at turn 12. I think that's the best place to perhaps go for a move, because you've got the chicane of death following straight after turn 12. It's definitely a big advantage to be ahead of another driver through the chicane of death, because the driver behind won't have good sight of the chicane and therefore increases their risk of crashing. And unfortunately on this particular occasion, it's going to be me in that disadvantageous position. Look at that for a big word. That's the word of the day, disadvantageous. As we head through the chicane one last time, is Goat going to feel the pressure and make a mistake? He's a little bit wide off there, but he manages to actually get through, and my car leaps up into the air. The two front tyres just dart up into the air, and I lose purchase with the ground and stop turning and smack the barrier on the exit. And unfortunately, with only one corner and a short run up to the line to go, as Goat gets a load of oversteer there, he just comes out of it and is able to correct it, but unfortunately that gap is just not small enough for me to capitalise on that, and Goat is going to be victorious on this particular occasion, coming across the line with a 20:02 total race time, and I'm only 7 tenths off him effectively. But my goodness, I still think that was a decent race between myself and Goat there, and even Trigger as well, and even Boba Belliclan and Kazut was in there. Good fight up the front, and that was me on the Contra strategy versus Goat on perhaps the better strategy for starting on pole. But I'm happy to finish in second there. I did kind of throw away the win a little bit with a couple of little mistakes, a couple of crucial unnecessary mistakes on that final lap, but Goat drove well, especially with the fight with Trigger. He drove well to bring home the victory in that race, and once again, I'm happy with P2. But that's going to finish up this little daily race video today. I do hope you enjoyed. Do hit the like button if you enjoyed, and do subscribe if you'd like to see more videos and streams from me. Do leave a comment as well. Questions, comments, and constructive criticism, as always, very much appreciated. But that's going to be the end of this one today, and that means that is it from me. So once again, I do thank you very much for watching. See you later.